Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live here on a Friday, November the 18th. Really glad you're with me, and I'm glad that two people are with me here, Dr. Jim Burns and Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hi, guys.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve. How are you today?
Excellent. I always love it when you're here. Jim and I go back till what year do you think we started being friends and colleagues and traveling together, writing together? You remember that?
Well, I lost you at Friends. No.
Yeah.
It was, Steve, it was early 80s, and I have this great memory. We were at the same church, and you actually sang in our worship band. A lot of people don't know you have that great voice. And, you did hand motions back then because it was kind of up with people, and it was quite the show. But those were beautiful, wonderful times we had together, and my love and appreciation for you continues today. I've often said that sometimes with people, you hang out with them, and then you go, oh, this is the real person. I don't really, I'm kind of tired of them. And with you, Steve, honestly, and I don't mean to be all mushy, but, I just continue to have deep respect and admiration for you, and it's so fun doing this and doing it with Jill here because, you guys are smart. I'm telling you, you give good advice. Wise.
Well, and of course, I say Jill is the wisest woman on Christian radio today. I just never, ever, anytime. And Jim, back to you for a minute here. No one that I know is more consistent in their integrity than you. And I've said this before, your book, Purity Code, is what our son James lived his life on, and he is pure, got a master's in nonprofit management, and is fluent in Chinese and can't go to China, so he's working with folks from China over here, discipling them to send them back to do what he can't do over there. But that your influence on him, we experience that every single day, and we're grateful for that. And I'm grateful whenever you do the program. And speaking, our little speaking tour we did with Rich Van Pelt and you and I, Drug Proof Your Kids, spectacular time.
Great
Then
fun.
Jill is actually the one that introduced me to the radio that John and Henry were doing. And I had been friends with them, but, not close friends. And then I heard them on radio. We had never talked about it. And so when we acquired Minrith Meyer, I took Paul and Frank off of that program because they were having some struggles, and put John and Henry on as the voice of New Life. And it was such a great time. And we were known as the Boys. But Jill introduced me to them. And then one of the greatest things I ever did in my life was get Jill on our radio program. No disappointment, always wise, thought through. Because, both of you, you're smart, but you both have deep, deep theological roots, the foundation of your faith. It's not just fake faith or superficial. It is rooted deeply in Scripture. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And that's why you do so well. Well, we're going to do well with some callers here that are calling, and I'm really glad that they are. And if you need help, though, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and you could still easily sign up for Every Man's Battle in Washington, D.C. in Dallas on the 2nd. Every Man's Battle, Dallas on the 2nd. And then next year, first thing up, Intimacy in Marriage, February 17, 18, and 19. So many marriages have become amazing or better or saved or fantastic. Whether you want a better marriage or you'd like to learn to like the person that you hate that you're married to, we can do that for you or help you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll be back.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas December 2nd through the 4th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Dr. Jim Burns, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and your phone calls. And Restore, Washington, D.C. is this weekend. I forgot to mention it. If there's somebody in your life that has a sexual integrity problem, it has impacted you. Father, brother, son, husband. Come on. You can be restored. I don't know if it'll restore the marriage or whatever, the relationship, because we don't have control over somebody else, but you can heal. You can forgive, and you can be at peace. That's what we do at Restore. It's this weekend in Washington, D.C. All right, let's go to Diane, New Haven, Connecticut. You've been holding here a while. Thank you, Diane, for holding on. How are you today?
I'm fantastic.
Well, great. Wonderful. How can we help?
I was told to call today. Sunday, me and my husband were watching that movie, I Can Only Imagine.
Yeah.
And I watched it a few times, but this time it really, really got to me big time, because that's my story. I wasn't abused physically, but I was very much abused verbally. And me and my father, we never had a relationship. It was a hate type thing. And
so sad.
Then one day we didn't think he was going to make it, and we got to talk to him. And maybe about 6 years ago, he accepted the Lord.
Oh, my.
And the Lord changed him tremendously. I mean,
that's awesome.
We could go to his house, and he'll sit and he'll talk to me. He never told me that he loved me. He tells me he loves me, and he can't wait for the next time for me to go to the house.
Oh, wow.
That's so great. That is transformation, isn't it?
I can see why that movie really touched you, Diane.
And I'm telling you, I am 68 years old, and I never, even though my father was alive, I never had a father. And now about 6 years, I got my father that I always wanted, thanks to God and everything that he moved. I never thought he would change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
Well, I'm so glad that you told us this story, and I think it'll give hope to a lot of people that think there's an impossible situation. Of course, we know that with God, all things are possible. And just to say thank you, I'll send you the 1-year Bible for women that my wife did the commentary on, and it covers all the tough verses for women that maybe even have kept some women from fully committing to Christ or fully living out the calling that Christ has on them. I think you'll really like that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want a copy of the 1-year Bible for women, and I did the 1-year Bible for men, that's what that looks like. See, it's got mountains on it. It's got Everest on it, not mountains, just one. Okay, so 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you want that, or if you need some help. Let's go to Evan, San Francisco, California, and he listens online. Evan, how are you today? What's going on?
Good. How are you? I'll do my best here to hold my nervousness together.
Okay.
So I've been married 15 years.
Okay.
11 years ago, we had 2 kids. We're late in life parents.
Okay.
My wife is a little over 50. I'm a little over 60, and we've got a 10 and a 12-year-old boys, both. And I stayed home with the kids. My wife's career right after the kids really took off, making a lot of money. And I stayed home with the kids. Her job required a lot of hours and a lot of travel. Well, once a month at least, often twice a month. She'd be gone for most of the week or the entire week, so she travels internationally and so on.
Okay.
So I've been with the kids, going to school. We split when she's here. We split time getting them up in the morning, but otherwise I'm there. Often I'm home alone with the kids, so on. So that's what the last 10 years have been like. I've been a class parent. I've been stay-at-home dad, and a couple times I thought about going back to work, and my wife said, well, the timing is bad right now because I've got all these trips in this quarter. And other times, right before COVID, I was getting ready to go back to work. So anyway, I haven't worked for 10, 12 years. My wife drops a postnuptial on me, and she's on the verge of making a substantial amount of money. And she drops the postnuptial on me in May. And we've had huge blowouts and arguments since then. She also wants me to change the trust. She wants me off of our trust. Anyway, so I see the mistakes I've made. We're in a rocky place in our relationship, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really getting pushed up against this. Sign the postnuptial, and I will think about working on our relationship. You can stay here, but you're on your own financially.
Okay. Now, I don't know what you're going to ask me, but I want you to practice saying something, okay?
Yes.
I want you to say the word no to me. Say no.
No.
Okay, see? There you go.
No.
You did it well. And I would say no to every one of those things. You did the work that needed to be done to free her to do well. It usually works the other gender way, but you did that. And you are entitled to any financial benefit that comes out of you being there and her being free. I might have a bad attitude, but in these situations that I've heard of before, she is planning on divorcing you. Otherwise, she wouldn't be asking you for this. If she's not going to divorce you, none of this means anything. You're not going to divorce her. She would divorce you. And I would never, ever, in fact, I ought to give you my personal cell number if you ever are tempted to say the word yes to any of this. It is not fair.
Seriously.
She has already emotionally divorced you. And what you want to say is, I'm not going to do this, but I am willing to go with you to a place that has we got about a 90% chance of ending up with a marriage we love. That's what I'd be saying.
Okay.
Jim, Jill, what are your thoughts?
Well, there is a story behind this story.
Right.
You got to make sure you're getting to that.
And what is that story? Well, how did this get to be so crummy?
Well, neglect on my side. I started focusing on the kids, and it's the classic story that, hey, I focused on the kids, which means one of our kids is learning challenged or he doesn't do a great job of learning, right? So I, have a lot of homework time with him, and I do spend a lot of time with the kids. And after work, my wife winds down, and she goes in, and I don't want to go too far with this, but she'll go into her bed and start resting, and she watches a lot of programs, a lot of religious programs on TV, and I don't want to disparage some of that, but and she kind of disconnects and gets some downtime, and she kind of lays in bed and works at the same time, all that. So anyway, so that's what I'm up against. Yeah, I've done a crummy job, and she has let me know what a crummy job I've done. And I kind of had some expectations along the way. I'll own my part, and we have just not been able really to build it back and reconnect. And we've talked about doing it, but I keep hearing about how awful I am at trying to reconnect. On the other hand, when I do go in to reconnect, I say things like, "Hey, how you doing?" She just sits there and says, "Fine," and turns back and watches,
I'm wondering too. I mean, this is like so classic in the reverse.
Exactly.
Right? And,
it is, absolutely.
And yet, okay, she's a mom. Where is her innate nurturing and wanting to spend time with her children versus disconnecting and going off to her room? I mean, I realize her job is taxing, so you have some of that, but there needs to be time with those kids. And so you have focused on the kids. The downside in this reverse role is that she's out there being the breadwinner, and so she has the power and strength. And she's not seeing perhaps the strength she needs in you, right? And I mean, you're doing an incredible thing, but then it gets the roles kind of mixed up in terms of, in one sense, she's almost saying, "I don't need you," and yet she does need you because she doesn't tend to the kids.
Yeah. Well, and a part of her argument is that we've had nannies. And we've had some nannies, but essentially the way it looks is she's saying, "You should have gone back to work and we would let the nannies raise the kids." And that was not tenable to me. That was not. And that was a big part of my, my participation in this. But you know what? Raising a couple kids is hard. I mean, it's exhausting.
Okay. So here's the thing.
I'm burned out.
Here's the thing. You're willing to do whatever it takes to fix the marriage, right?
Except I don't want to sign these documents.
Well, I talk about fixing the marriage. The documents being signed does not fix the marriage. It just enables her to walk away with a lot of money, and you stranded, kids raised by a nanny, and you're homeless even. So that is not fixing the marriage.
It is that bad.
Yeah. So let's eliminate that as an option for you. You must eliminate that. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't help her, and it doesn't help you. Okay?
Yeah.
But are you willing to do whatever it takes to make your marriage better?
I would say things that I'm congruent with.
Like what?
I would not attend a worship. This is going spiritual. I would not attend a worship service that was run by some people that might be from the Pentecostal Word of Faith background.
If she wanted you to go to that, to experience it with her, you're saying you wouldn't do that. Is that what I'm hearing?
I would go.
You would go, okay. All right, that's what I like to hear because if you're going to try to repair things, saying that I'm not going to worship with you because I don't like what they think, believe, or whatever, versus I will go and be with you and you will, it's just not the right time to be objecting to one denomination versus another. You get my point, right? Doesn't mean you're going to join that church. You don't need to join the church. You just need to be there with her. Now, that doesn't fix the marriage, though, going to church. What are you willing to do to help your marriage? And what wouldn't you do?
I'm willing to put in the time.
Would you go to a New Life event? You listen to us. Would you do that? Would you go to Intimacy and Marriage? Okay, so what I'm hearing, and got to get to this, you're willing to do something today. She is not willing to do something today, or you need to find out if she's willing. So you would say to her, I think that this Intimacy and Marriage thing that's in February, I think they have an amazing record of success with people in situations like us. I'd like to sign us up for that. I would like us to go to that. We have the financial resources to go. I would like to try and see if that could benefit us the way it has literally benefited thousands and thousands of couples. Now, if she were to say, no, I won't do that, then the reply would be, well, it sounds like to me then you're planning on divorce, and it makes me even more unwilling to do something and live in poverty after the divorce. Why don't we be honest with each other? Where are you? What are you planning to do? Why would you want a post-nuptial agreement if you weren't planning on divorce? Maybe we should just go ahead and get that divorce right now. And then there is no post-nuptial.
Yeah, and that's what we're up against. I mean, it's just like now. Steve, I would love to get your mobile number. I really would. I'm really under pressure on this, and I'm legitimate. I'm a solid guy. I would love to be able to have a couple of minutes of your time.
All right.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. I want to go back to Evan. Evan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Thank you.
Okay. One of us, or two of us, or one of us is confused. Jill and Jim think you have already signed the postnuptial.
No, I have not.
Oh,
okay.
Yay. I'm so
You
happy
needed
to be
clarify
wrong.
that. All right. We're very happy to be wrong. And hold on, and I'm going to tell them to give you my cell number, and we'll communicate that way. But I'm really glad that I, once again, am so
Should we send?
so
What should we
consistent.
send them? Maybe how we love.
I think we will send How We Love,
Okay.
and yeah, we should also send them 7 things that you should never do if you're married,
Yes.
and then those 7 things that you need to do every day if you're married.
And the other thing I was thinking, Evan, is because your wife is watching, some of that religious input. I mean, she probably goes to a church or something, may not be the church you like, but she is open to hearing from God. And so I would saddle up next to that, even though you may not agree with everything that she's learning, because this is a God thing. And the Lord, the Bible says the Lord hates divorce. And so that doesn't mean that with people who are divorced, he embraces them, he loves them, he cares for them, but he doesn't like to see divorce. And so if there's any way you can get reconciled, that's what he wants. Well, so when she's at church, that's the message she should be hearing as well, that reconciliation. And so again, Again,
right, and this isn't a time to be splitting hairs
right.
about theology.
Exactly, and this isn't
right.
the time.
Move into what is common.
Right, so,
right. You both believe in God, even if you choose to worship differently.
Right, and people who have been divorced, they'll often say, you know what, if there was a possibility of reconciliation, we could do that. And there are people who've tried reconciliation, and then frankly it didn't work. I mean, I understand that, but the fact is, this is a time for him to be doing anything he can to get her to listen to God. Too.
Right. And where are each of you guys digging your heels in, right? And really listen to what she's saying, because women usually are saying it over and over and over again, and men don't hear it.
Yes.
Well,
right?
Also,
that's true.
When you're saying, I want to stay married to you, and I'll do whatever it takes to stay married to you, but I won't go to your church, it's such a disconnect right there. And it's a bit of stubbornness.
Help me understand why this appeals to you.
Yeah.
I want to
go and ask that. Tell me what you liked about it, and she hopefully, she would be thinking, I wonder how he liked it. We went to a Presbyterian church this past weekend, all of us, and on the way home we all shared what we felt about that service. It just came natural to do it because, we have not gone to Presbyterian churches, and it was a very different experience. I don't know why, if she really cares at all, she wouldn't be interested in how he felt about it, but he should sure be interested in how she felt about it. All right, if you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That is the number. Let's go, and how about we talk with, this is Marty from Cincinnati, Ohio, listens on Sirius XM, channel 131 at 1 p.m. Eastern. Hi there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It sounds like you're rolling down the road there, Marty.
I am.
Don't crash. Don't crash.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Oh, I will.
Yes, what's your question for us? We can hear.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for, I called a couple of months ago and asked for help with how I could help my sister who was struggling because her husband has dementia and Alzheimer's, and her daughter has slight mental problem with cerebral palsy. And so she was really struggling. She was had so much responsibility, and she was just ready to give up. And you had sent me for her, Take Your Life Back, and I gave that to her, and I asked her to read one chapter a day. To just read one chapter a day, and then kind of figure out what that means to you. And she, because I had read Take Your Life Back. And I'm about ready to read it again because I've got an issue that's what I want to talk to you about today. But
well, did she read it?
She is reading it, yes, and she says it's helping her. So, and I can see a difference in her. I can see it. She's a little bit stronger. She can stand up for herself. She was just giving in to everything and anything they both wanted. And her daughter, who has cerebral palsy, is 51 years old, and she's kind of set in her ways, and my sister has catered to her all of her life, and now her demands are a lot more, they're different than what they were when she was younger, but it is helping her. And
so what's the question for us? Well, you're welcome. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, I have a situation. I've been married to my husband 25 years. About 9 years ago, his son got into trouble with his son's mother, and he was put in jail over a weekend, and my husband ended up bailing him out and let him come to stay at our house. He said, you can stay here until, just long enough for you to get yourself situated and get back out on your own. Well, that was 9 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
And, and he contributes absolutely nothing to, the upkeep of the house or any financial thing in the house. He paid nothing. He's lived there basically.
Okay, hold on. I've got to go to a break.
Years.
Hi, this is Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries. We know that Christian counseling changes lives. We hear evidence of that every day.
I feel like I'm a person for the first time in my life. I feel like I wasn't whole before, or that I couldn't enjoy life. I had such a big weight on my shoulders that I had nothing to look forward to. I'm such a better wife, and I'm a better daughter, friend, a better worker. I feel absolutely free.
Our nationwide network of licensed Christian counselors means there is help available near you.
If anybody is considering Christian counseling, then they need to do it. They need to take that step.
You don't have to be stuck where you are, but you can't really expect to change unless you take action. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It could be the start of a whole new life for you. Christian counseling works, and we can help. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE today. Someone who cares is always there at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the 1-year Bible for men or the 1-year Bible for women. These Bibles combine the best-selling daily Bible reading format with 2-minute daily devotionals written to create a one-of-a-kind devotional Bible that you'll love. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
All right. We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and we're talking to Marty. And so this is a horrible situation, and whatever's happening here, well, it's one of those situations where dependency on you guys isn't just being enabled, it's being perpetuated, which is even worse. And Jim wrote the book,
Right.
Doing Life with Your Adult Children. Jim, what do you say about these kinds of situations, and this one especially?
Well, Marty, again, you're in a tough situation because he's a stepson and not just your son. But anybody would know that if he's been there for 9 years, he's an adult, then there's what we call a failure to launch, right? And so he needs to be launched. And if your husband isn't listening to your wise advice, then, there's a biblical principle that says where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. And a lot of times I find that sometimes a spouse will not listen to us, but they'll listen to the wise counsel of somebody else, and nobody thinks this is a good idea, okay? That you didn't say that the stepson, that he has some kind of a mental issue or, some kind of a physical ailment. Or sometimes.
And how old is he?
46.
Okay.
Oh, he's 46.
Right.
Okay.
So he's got a good deal, and so because he's got such a good deal.
He's got a bad deal.
Yeah.
Right. That's.
It's
if
a
he were
horrible
26, okay, we could understand.
But he's being
more.
taken care of. So somehow the problem is that your husband needs to get on. Get on with it and realize that he's actually hurting his son because of this failure to launch. So, help him develop an exit plan. I don't know that you do that just you and your husband. It obviously hasn't worked for 9 years. So maybe this is where you get a coach or a counselor and they help you think through this and say, we're looking for an exit plan. We're looking for a way to launch him. And at 46, it's only going to get more confusing if you don't get it going.
Even if you say, I'm willing to be wrong, can we go to a third party to see how we should handle this? If I'm wrong, I'll back off. but let's talk about it and talk about what's in the best interest of our son, right? Are we helping him or are we hurting him?
Conversation with him. Yeah, I've had that conversation with him.
With your husband?
And he just thinks, with my husband.
Okay.
And, he just thinks, he says, well, no. He said, he's fine here. But the other piece of this is like a year and a half ago, our stepson's son, got into some trouble, and he basically got kicked out of his apartment. Well, I didn't know, and no one talked to me about the grandson coming and staying. I found out the day he was moving his things into the house. And my husband said, well, Joe and I had a conversation, and we think this is what's best. I said, well, what about you and I having a conversation?
Yeah,
This is my home, too, He's unwilling to even budge. And, I'm at the point now, I've tried to work through this by talking to a therapist because it was really driving me nuts.
Well, you and your husband have to get help together.
Right.
And he really isn't married to you when he's doing all of these independent things.
So
he's not partnering with you.
I wonder what guilt, what disappointment that your husband has from his first marriage that didn't work out, or is where he feels like he failed his son that now he's making up for now. Because now the son's living with him. He gets to be the good parent because the son had conflict with the mother. And so that's a cherished position. So it's really about your husband and how your husband...
And
go ahead.
My husband feels very guilty. Over the way that, when Joe was 18, when he came home from a fishing trip in Canada, his mother had cleaned out the entire house and left a note saying that I have fulfilled my role as your mother. I fulfilled my role as your father's wife. Here's $50. Happy birthday.
Wow.
And she was gone. So Bruce feels very guilty about that.
Of course.
But yet, it's like you can't, and Joe's mother has completely turned her back on him because he goes to her for money all the time.
Right.
I think,
it's just
he's 46 and not 26, right? So pay for him to go to therapy and help him work through it, right?
Yeah.
But your husband, how long is it going to take till his guilt subsides?
And he's doing this to make himself feel better.
Yep.
And in the process, he's destroying the life of his man boy and grandson. Mm-hmm. That's the reality. And it's just like my good friend Dave Stoops said, when I stopped doing things to make me feel better and started doing things to help my son, that's when my son got into recovery and never, ever used again, which is pretty powerful. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you called, and you do have Take Your Life Back. I'll send you the 1-year Bible for women, which was all the commentary by my wife, Misty, and it's just an amazing work.
Well, what about doing life with your adult kids?
And, sorry about that. Yes, doing life with your adult kids is coming your way. Absolutely. Now, Every Man's Battle is December the 2nd. That's coming right up. Last time we're doing it this year. Here's what one attendee said. The workshop yielded a watershed moment for me that will change my life forever and thankfully make significant strides in restoring our marriage. That's what we're going for. And that's so good to read that and to know that your gifts, they all made that possible. Your gifts make that possible. Your support of us allows us to be used by God for transformation. And I'm so grateful to God that we're still doing this 35 years later and loving it more and more. And you're still helping us. And if you can help us, please call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That is the number to call. I want to share with you before we go to our next caller. A wonderful verse, 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. I mean, really. People that are struggling with anxiety and fear and it's incapacitating, well, you read this verse and you go, well, I've tried, but I can't. Okay, that's when you need to get additional help because God is there. But sometimes the way our brain works, the whatever, stands in the way of us being able to connect with the God who does calm our fears. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, that is the phone number to call when you need or want some help. And I'm going to go to Randy. He's calling from Waco, Texas. Hey, Randy, how are you?
Y'all. I'm good.
Doing okay? Good.
Hey, I just got a question, probably the dumbest question you've ever heard. But
okay.
My oldest brother died in August. They found him dead in his motel room.
Oh, my goodness. What happened?
He just wouldn't take care of himself, had high blood pressure, and drinking a gallon of whiskey a week. And it caught up with him, and he didn't show up for work one day because he traveled with his job. But my question is, I can't, I haven't cried. And I just don't know if there's something wrong with me. Because when we were little, we all got along, but, when we got to be an adult, he would go off and you wouldn't hear from him for 2 or 3 years. And when he come to Waco, we kind of connected back and went out to eat a couple times. And, when this happened, I loved him because he was my brother. But it's like I never knew him. And I'm just wondering if there's something, that is wrong with me because I haven't shed a tear over it. It's like, and his daughters even said, Uncle Randy is just like he was never home anyway. And nobody just, I don't know.
Well, are you able to cry over other things?
Yeah. But it's just like, we never knew him because over the last 10, 15 years, he just done his own thing and you would never hear from him.
Yeah. Are you sad? Are you sad that he died?
Oh, yes. But, as far as just breaking down, I can't.
Right.
I haven't done that. And I'm just.
Well,
I don't know if
we're going to go to a break. We'll talk to you and help you make some sense of all that. You are listening to New Life Live. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need help.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just, one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas December 2nd through the 4th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800. New Life.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hi, this is Laura. We are forever grateful to New Life on intervening and helping us when our life was falling apart. We truly have a new life and have had a new life for several Thanksgivings. Had it not been for New Life, we would not be here today. We were lost. I had lost hope, and New Life gave us hope and truly gave us a new life. And because of their help, our family is together. And the pain that was purposed to harm us in Genesis 50:20, that's what the Lord gave me, has been the same pain that has defined us and given us a new life.
There it is. Another story of God using something we've done here to help transform a life, a marriage, and that's why we're here. And if you want to be part of those great things that are happening here, please help us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE really is an amazing time for New Life. It's like it's taken us 35 years to get all this stuff right, and God's using us, and we love it. If you support us, I'll send you the 2023 New Life calendar, all of our events and photographs from the trips and all those kinds of things, and hope that'll be a blessing to you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now let's go back to Randy. And Jill, you want to start here with Randy and Jim, then you.
Sure. Randy, I'm glad you're asking the questions and that you're wanting to, look at yourself and do the grief work that's needed, because certainly this is a big loss intellectually, right? This is your oldest brother, and you grew up with him. Sometimes when someone lives a very detached life from family and isn't around, sometimes our grief happens slowly over time. It's like a parent who has dementia, who lives a really long time. The person often grieves slowly so that when they die, it's like they've cried all the tears or they've felt all the feelings. So grieving, you don't always have to cry, but usually when you hit a vulnerable moment, the tears flow, right? And I'm wondering, it's like you didn't lose your adult brother because you never had him. But what you lost was the brother you had when you all were little, right? And any hope of that brother resurfacing. And so I'm wondering if you might take some time and write down all the memories you have of when you and your brothers were little, and what you remember, how you might have looked up to this brother. What was he like back then? What was the child or adolescent brother like? And write out all those memories. And then I'm thinking perhaps you could share that with someone, maybe another one of your brothers, maybe a wife, maybe someone close to you that you could read that through and talk about it. And actually, it probably would be good with your brothers to all reminisce. And sometimes it's not that you're sobbing; it's that you're laughing, you're crying, you're having any kind of emotion around this person that you lost a long time ago.
Jim, your thoughts?
Okay. Randy, I'm not sure that crying means that you haven't grieved this either.
Yeah.
Some people, when they're dealing with their grief, some people don't cry about it, and yet, like Steve asked you earlier, if you did cry at other times when you're sad or whatever. So don't think that you haven't done some of this work just because you haven't cried. There may be that moment, and I would really suggest that you do what Jill said to do, and get back in touch with that relationship that you haven't had. And maybe you're going to grieve that relationship that you didn't have as much as his passing, to be honest. But don't measure it with tears. Measure it with more of a depth of the relationship, what you missed, what you hoped for, and so many other things. But grief is not measured by tears. Grief is measured in much different ways than just tears. And some people are going to cry about it, and some people didn't. You actually put something in my heart when you were talking. I have a brother who passed away, and I love this guy. I wasn't as close. He was 14 years older than me. But you know what? I don't think I cried. And then I thought, well, should I have cried? Now I was doubting my own stuff, Randy. And in reality, I think I did go through a grief process with him before and after, but it didn't involve tears. And I feel really good about where he is and who he is and what happened in that experience now. But in retrospect, I don't know that tears would have changed my grief process.
And I'm really, really glad that you called about this. And I hope that something we've said has meant something. I'll send you the 1-year Bible for men, and I'll send you Healing is a Choice, because I think it will help. I think the worst thing he could have done, which he did not, happens all the time, is we try to manufacture something that isn't there. And if it's not there, we end up at the end of the manufactured moment feeling more empty. It just doesn't help. Maybe I'm thinking about that because when Misty and I were at the Lumina event at Museum of the Bible, Nicole C. Mullen and her worship team, there was a moment that neither she nor I had experienced one like it in a very, very long time. And it was such a deep spiritual experience as she was leading praise and worship. I had met all the band members, and it was so great to hear them talk. They were all so spiritually attuned to God. It wasn't just like they were the backup of her. They were part of the experience. And I was thinking then, how many churches is there somebody trying to manufacture something like this, and it just falls so flat? But when it's real, it's wonderful. Manufactured tears don't help. Now, some people, they have things that are preventing them from crying, because if they cry, they feel vulnerable, or they're afraid they'll lose control, or whatever. And you need to work on that if that's the case. But in this case, I think, I think in your case, Jim, crying was not the appropriate thing for you. I don't think it was appropriate for him. And I'm glad he called so we can tell him it's okay sometimes not to cry. Now, maybe one of your tear sources is that marriage of yours. Well, we could help you. First, if you're a man, we could help you through Every Man's Battle, December the 2nd. And that's in Dallas. You could walk there if you started now. And then Intimacy in Marriage, February 17 through 19 in Southern California. And everything that we do are based on the 3 principles that we started with 35 years ago. First, truth, or as we say, true truth. How does God mean for these words to be experienced and understood? Not how can I use these to manipulate somebody? And then connection, redemptive relationship. Some people have never had a redemptive relationship in their whole life. And the third thing, transformation. Romans 12:2 invites us to allow God, you can't do it on your own, to change the way we think and be transformed. If you need help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Jill and Jim, for your help. God bless you. Have a great weekend. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.